Hey, it's me, Nick. I am the animator and director of the new hit animated movie, Tales of Comland. Today, I'm going to show you a bit of the animation I've done for the movie, starting with how to draw Toby. Okay, so here we have Toby. As you know, he's the main character on Tales of Comland. Probably one of the most complex designs of characters I've made throughout the movie. So, we have him here just so we can make sure we're doing it right. Just a copy of Toby from the movie, and we're going to do our best to copy him. We're going to start with his head. His head's going to be a circle. Most heads are circles, I would hope. We're going to make this head nice and big and round, like he is. And we're going to go ahead and color that in skin color, which is cantaloupe. Put it here. Okay, now we have his head. We're going to do his neck. And you see his neck here. It's barely noticeable, but still there. Right behind his head and his body. Let's see if I did that right. And yes, something like that. Make sure you send it back, all the way back, and color that in cantaloupe as well. Now we're gonna do his body. And his body, most bodies I do, are the rounded square shape. We're not going to make it too fat, not going to make it too thin. Also make sure you don't do it too tall. About here's good. Yeah, that's about the right size. Give or take a few centimeters or something. Millimeters. Okay, we're going to color that in. His shirt is orange there, or his jacket, his shirt. And next what we're going to do is the arms and legs, and those may look like they can be squares, but actually I found the best thing to do is rounded square as well. Rounded square, you'll see a lot of my animations use those. Rounded squares are good for basically anything. They can be circles when you need them to be. They can be squares. They can be rectangles, ovals. They're your go-to shape. It's also good for human or other animal-like figures. Okay, and we put it here, we sent it back behind the body, so it looks like they're actually coming out of the body. And his pants are brown, they're nice and brown and made of leather there. And just to make sure we get an exact copy of the other leg, we copy that and we paste it. We move it across here, and we send that back as well. Make sure they're level with each other, else one leg would be longer than the other. Now we're going to do his arms. Those are also rounded squares. So we're going to go ahead, make those a bit smaller. Make those okay length. You know, he's not a full adult yet. He's just a teenager. Yeah, so he's got a long sleeve shirt, and we're gonna color that in orange then, because it goes all the way down to his wrists. There. Now, we're going to rotate it, because nobody holds their arms perfectly straight. About 60 degrees. Actually, make that 45 degrees. So rotate that 45 degrees, put it about there. make sure the ends are around his shoulder and send that back one behind his body. Again, so it looks like it's coming out of his body. Oops, sorry there. Now we're going to copy that. And as you know, if you flip it, it's not going to do much. If you flip it either way, unless you have some other design within it, it's not going to do a physical flip. So what we need to do is rotate it back to 0 and get it down to 315 degrees. Should be an opposite rotation of that. And just to make sure, you put one arm over the other, just to make sure they're perfectly opposite if you want to do this test. And if they make a perfect X like that, actually I'm gonna show you here. You can take an X and the arms line up, then you know it's perfect. Once again, we put that by the other shoulder in front there, send it back, and we've got a pretty good sketch. Could be any human, really. So now we got a good human shape. We're going to start on the hands and the feet, which are his black shoes. And we're going to start with those black shoes first. Again, rounded square. Make it pretty small, reasonably small. Make sure not too big. About that size should do. And we're going to fill those in licorice. Now there are two shades of black. There's lead, which is a tiny bit lighter, just noticeably brighter. If you had a licorice backdrop, then you would definitely notice a lead shape against it on a background. And then there's the licorice, which is the darkest black. It might not seem that big a difference, but a mistake with them could be fatal for the animation. Now we're going to copy that, and these don't go behind them, these go in front to show that the shoes are facing outward rather than inward. Now we're going to do his hands. His hands are a little different. They're not as flat as his feet. They're about that size, still pretty good even, rounded square, except just smaller than normal. I'm actually going to make it a little smaller. One thing I wanted to point out, if you take a corner here and you stretch it out like this, it'll go all sorts of ways like that. You'd stretch it out thin, thick, different widths, different lengths. However, a trick is if you hold down the shift key, which I'm going to show you here, if you hold down the shift key and then you drag it, it will shrink the shape without completely changing its composition. So, sorry there. So, as you can see, shift, and we'll make it about that size. Now, hands don't always have to be tilted like this. I obviously, when I did this copy of him, made the arm and the hand straight first, and then I grouped them and tilted them together. But hands don't always have to face the same direction or be slanted the same direction as the arms do. In fact, it's more human to have them straight like that. So, color film in cantaloupe, because that's his flesh there too. Copy it, paste it, move it to the other one, make sure you line them up. You can see the 49 mark there tells you how far apart they are. This is 49 inches from the body. The body is 49 inches across here, and then that other hand reaches 49 here. You do the math. Okay, now that we're done with the basic human sculpture, hands, arms, feet, legs, neck, head, body, now we're going to start working on the details. And one of the first details we'll work on is his head, his hair. Now, as you can see, this isn't a shape you would find in the shape tool. This is one I made out of the shape drawer. So, as you can see, his hair is custom made. Start at the point, which is the tip here, and slant it about here. Come down about that far, and kind of just curve it along here. And I'm actually going to extend the point a little more. And we have about the same hair shape. Not exactly, but pretty close to the same shape. Whenever you use the draw tool, don't count on making the same exact shape twice, because chances are that'll probably 1 out of, I don't know, 100 times that could possibly happen. Just not very good odds that you will make the same shape twice. Now we're going to color that in yellow, lemon yellow, because he's blonde. Let's see. Actually made it a little big, so once again, shift, drag, and place it on top of his head. Try not to overlap too much, just so it looks human, and that looks pretty good. Next we're going to work on